He did it through midfield.
Old-wakie has not though. Old-wakie is straight into the fence, and Stickers might take advantage here. There's damage on Old-wakie's car.
What is he doing? Oh boy! Oh, big crash. Huge crash. Glasses into him. Glasses into him.
Less than a second away from the podium.
It's not over till it's over.
Get the drive. Who's it gonna be? There's the drive. Oh my god! He gets it. Does he get him? He goes into the lead. Oh my god! Oh, that is absolutely incredible.
Oh boy.
He's too deep.
Oh, he's in it. Oh, it's drama. Drama. Oh. He's gone for a move very opportunistic. Oh, that came out of nowhere from Morgan Davis.
The battle back for second is an absolute hot rocket. Oh, there's a big tap from Racebird, old-wakie, Racebird to the wall! But he's recovered straight away. That bug was so lucky. We'll get a quick
Good evening, Sector 1 sim racing fans from Australia, New Zealand, and around the world. Welcome along to round number 1, second time around. Of course, last week we had Div 1 and Div 3. This week we've got Div 2 and Div 4 action for you at Nurburgring GP once again. Very exciting times, and once again we do have a forecast for rain for both of our races tonight. It's looking very exciting. I'm excited about both of these races. Both of these divisions are as stacked as each other. Div 2, there was, if I remember correctly, there were so many guys who were fully good enough for Division 1, but had to take a cut to make room for, you know, all the best guys that we ended up with in there. And now they're going to lead the way for Div 2, so it's going to be a huge, hard fight. There's battles up and down the field for both Div 2 and Div 4. Apparently, in the test starts for the Div 4 lobby this evening, we've seen plenty of close racing from start to finish. Is that right, Graham?
Yeah, absolutely. G'day, everyone. Sunday night, round 1. Really strong competitive field. The qualifying times, you could throw a blanket over them, or their practice times. 6 manufacturers, I think, on the line. They've all got their different strengths, and rain in the back half of the race is on the forecast, so we'll see what plays out.
Yeah, that's huge. And we saw how difficult the rain could be last week. So the forecast for race 1, we're looking at rain at the end of the race, so we're probably not going to see the same issues we did last week with people exiting onto a dry track with a wet pit lane, causing some spins. But I think the wet weather's going to throw a spanner in the works, whatever way you look at it. While we're here, let's have a look at the race brief for you all this evening. So Nurburgring GP, as some of you may be familiar with, we've got, there's your forecast for Division 4 and Division 2. So rain at the start and end for Division 2 and rain at the end of Division 4. Soft mediums available as well as intermediates and wets. There are no mandatory tyres for either race this evening on account of there being wet weather forecasted. We don't actually know if it will rain for certain. We've just got a forecast for the guys to look at. But I think in the meantime, we should probably get qualifying underway for Division 4.
No worries. The flag has dropped, so about 6 seconds.
Alrighty, so a very tough track. We saw a lot of people having issues, particularly with the pit lane exit last week. So we might see more of the same again. But predicted times, get your predicted lap times for qualifying in the chat, ladies and gentlemen who are watching from home or wherever you may be. And let us know what you think will be the pole time. Let us know who you think will get the pole time. And let's have a look. Let's see what we're looking at for qualifying at the moment.
Yeah, and definitely the quicker times as these tyres come on later in the stint. There'll be a flurry of fastest laps right at the end, I reckon.
Yeah, so we do drop the fuel towards the end of the qualifying stint, as per usual. That's the general situation with Sector 1 qualifyings. But we'll go through the grid for now in any case. So out the front, at the moment, we've got Peteypops in the Alfa Romeo 4C. So if I remember correctly, that's the doghouse entry. And the only team on the grid to be driving the Alfa this season. Fairly competitive car. The Group 3 actually got a reduction in... Oh, I think it got an addition in weight in the most recent update. So it has been reduced a little bit in the performance department. The Group 4 wasn't touched by all accounts. So this should be just like what we've seen so far in practice from many people. Womble, a familiar face in the Div 4, Div 3 sort of area of Sector 1. Been around for many a season and a livery wizard to boot. And you can see the comic style livery displayed on his car there. Real fantastic piece of art, that one. Dazza Sturley in, well, he's currently third on the track, but obviously no time set as of yet. So he's racing for, is that Kraken Esports? It is. I'm got to get used to the new liveries. There's been a few changes around the grid for these guys. So he's currently third out on track. He'll be around third time across the line. evil-evoIX, that's one of my teammates. So Respawn Esports with another Womble design. I can say that. I can point that out because that's not biased. So yep, another Womble design on the field. Looks good, I must say. I could probably say that because I didn't make it myself. I'm complimenting someone else. Laminator P5, also in the Supra, so that's 2 Supras we've seen so far, I think. Sorry, Womble was also in a Supra. Lightning Motorsport, Laminator, we've heard good things about as well, coming in. So he's a new entrant for the Sector 1 series. So we don't know quite what we can expect from him, but hopefully he can pull something out of the bag and set some blistering times tonight. Here's Johnson, I believe this is his second season in Sector 1. Driving for Brocchio 5 Sim Racing, a new team under management by another stalwart of the Sector 1 series, Brocchio 5, who was a 6-time champion of Group A, so the very, very top flight. So they've got a lot of experience to pull from, and he's not racing either, so he's got plenty of time to share the tips with these guys. So we're expecting big things from these guys. In fact, Shizer last week had an excellent performance in the 86, so they are driving for Subaru. Driving the 86 Toyota in Group 4 because the WRX is outlawed, being 4-wheel drive. ICR Renegade driving for Hooncorp Esports in the Sylvia, the Nissan. First entrant on the grid tonight for the Japanese mark. And VF in P8 at the moment in the Mercedes for Dadson Racing, the Bacchus liveried car. So that's the first Mercedes on the grid as well. So I think we saw some good performance from the Mercedes last week in Group 4. And... although they can't choose it, the Mercedes team did get an addition to their Group 3 roster in the most recent update in the 2020 AMG GT3. But I don't think that's available to these guys for this season, unfortunately. It just came a little bit too late. Malevolent One, he's been around for a couple of seasons now in the 86 for Deeds. Brent's team. Brent's not in the chat, not in the comms box tonight. But he'll be rooting for him loud and proud in the chat down there in the bottom corner of your screen. Make sure if you're watching as well, leave a like on the stream. It really helps us out with the algorithm, gets us up there right at the top so that we can get more viewers and get more people involved in the series. The Brev, P10 driving the McLaren. I believe that's not Blacklight, is it? Is that CP? That is CP.
That's CP, the
CP
McLaren,
Motorsports. Big budget. A guy with no skills down P11, another Nissan driver. So there's 2 teams with the Nissan. That's Black Rose Racing and Revs Law for Hooncorp as well. So 2 Hooncorp drivers on the grid tonight in the Nissan Sylvia. So we're seeing the first of our times being set. Peteypops just gets pole by a guy with no skills in that Alpha. So the Alpha showing some good pace. 205.685. Beaten out by a 205.400 by a guy with no skills, displaying that in fact he does have skills. Yes. In the Nissan Sylvia. Where did the other Sylvia end up? We had Revs Law. He ended up in P8 there after his first fly with a 206.7. So this is Revs' Sector 1 main series debut. So we'll see what we can expect from him. That Hooncorp livery looking very, very flash. We've seen a lot of comments about it in the chat in the past about how good it looks, and I must agree. That's not biased at all. I am not a Hume driver. Just kidding, I am. Outside of Sector 1 though. In Sector 1, I'm a respawn guy through and through. So on board with a guy with no skills. Black Rose Racing currently on provisional pole with a 205.4. What do you expect, Graham, that we'll see for a pole position after this qualifying session's all run and done?
Yeah, I reckon with the dry track and tyres getting up to temperature, we could even see a high 4, but definitely low 5s.
Definitely low 5s.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
Awesome.
Just yeah. So what? Yeah, probably a flat 205 maybe. I'm just thinking VF is fastest. He's 0.13 under on this lap.
He's in the Mercedes as well, so it's showing some real pace for the Mercedes. Who's that about to cross the line? I think it's Peteypops. Doesn't go faster. He's 0.013 down. evil-evoIX, Womble goes across in P4 with a 205.9, so that's great for him. Right up the front.
Yep.
Laminator in the pits. Got to change to some fresh tyres. Peteypops makes a mistake round turn 1, so he'll probably be riding off this lap. Don't know if he has enough time to take a pit stop, so he's probably going to have to go around and just do one more flyer.
Yeah, the tyres
are in the
actually
pits
hold
as
up
well.
all right here for about 5 or 6 laps. So
Yeah, they could potentially get through the whole qualifying session on them, but I think if you ride off this third lap that a lot of them are doing right now, you might end up with a bit of an advantage. And you may miss out on a lap or two, which some people might prefer to have. 0.002 up the top there. You're right about VF there. He was definitely on a good lap. Couldn't quite get provisional pole though. 0.402. 0.402 there for him. And got Womble now down to P5 after being down there by VF. Got himself up on the front row, but he's blue on his own time.
yeah, he's just going a little bit quicker. Just looking at. I'll get Malevolent 1 and Dazza on the next timing point.
Looks like VF's not on his best lap here. Yep, he's 3.8 seconds down. This will be a ride-off, and he'll be going for balls to the wall for the next one. Couple of guys not quite in the 206s, so top 5 all in the 205s, and P6 down all 206s. Are we seeing anyone a bit lower than that? We got a 208 down the bottom for Renegade. So he'll be looking to improve that. In fact, he's blue by over half a second, just under half a second. Let's see if he can make some time at the chicane. Here he goes. Bit wide of the first apex. Does he cut the right? Not quite enough. But it was tidy enough.
Yeah. Womble, he had P3 for a second. But
205.3 goes to pole, provisional pole. Let's see what Renegade gets at the line. 206 for Keza. Drives to the line. 207.3 puts him up in P12 ahead of Malevolent 1. Guy with no skills is coming up to the end of his outlap. And he'll be on fresh tyres, so he might end up with an advantage on his final flyer here. In fact, is he going to make it?
Yep.
He should do.
He's got.
Just shy of a minute to go.
Yeah, no, he'll cross the line in time for a one flyer.
Because he timed this perfectly, he has. He will be the last one as well. There's a big gap on track behind him. A provisional pole for evil-evoIX after seeing Freelix last week, also from Respawn, take pole position in Division 3.
Yeah, and VF at the first time, 0.48 under. He's purple.
Purple by 0.4. Wow.
48. Yeah.
Is he on fresh tyres?
No.
Oh, so he's just run around again. That's right, he wrote off his last lap. Wow, this could be huge for VF. Can he get the pole position on his final attempt? It's all going to come down to this, I think.
Next timing check. Yep, purple
0.3.
0.367.
He's still clear. But Benny is going to have to come up with an answer. A guy with no skills is also going to have to come up with an answer. Someone's off there. I think that might be Revs.
Renegade, yeah.
It was Renegade, was it? Yep, he's off. So he's parked it. Malevolent One in the Deeds 86 will be looking to improve if he can. Get him out of the final slot on the grid.
Yeah, VF 0.351 purple. He's been able to hold it.
Let's see how he
Womble's
takes this
just coming
chicane.
across.
Jump on board with Womble. See what he can set. No improvement, and that's his last one. So he'll stay with a 205.
Yeah, Poppers is up to provisional pole, 205.22.
Peteypops, excellent. Very well done. In the alpha of all things as well. Not the fastest car in a straight line, as many people will note. Let's have a look. VF
This
onto
will
the
be a
main
good
straight.
one with VF.
Here we go. What can he do? 205.402 at the moment. 205.2.
Oh,
He
it's
can't
like a
quite go pole.
big
He's on the
pole
front
for
row, though.
Poppers. Yeah.
Does
Yeah.
Benny Rex have an answer? No, he's set his final time as well. 205.6, so no improvement. A guy with no skills is on a flyer still. But he's down by a 10th. And he gained it all back in the last corner. The last two corners. There's a couple of others still on track as well.
That's a big pole for the Alpha, that one.
That's huge, yeah. He'll be wrapped with that. There's been, I think everyone so far has been a first-time pole sitter in their division, in their respective divisions. Because we had Ricky Bobby in Div 1, we had Freelix in Div 3, and now we've got Peteypops in Div 4. No improvement for a guy with no skills, so he stays P4, and that's it for qualifying. So what do you think, man? How do you feel about that one?
I reckon the Alpha and the Merc, they start really well, and if they get through turn 1 all right, they might even show a clean pair of heels here for a bit.
Yeah, good traction from that car too, being naturally
Yeah.
aspirated. Oh, sorry,
So
no, it's
the-
the Alpha. I was thinking the Merc.
Yeah, and the McLaren and the Supras are super quick, so yeah, it'll come together.
Alright, and there we are. A race screen without the graphic on it, so we'll just have to roll with that for now. But there is your season 7 round 1 Div 4 grid lineup. So Peteypops takes pole position with a 205.220. BF in the SLS AMG with a 205.271, less than half a tenth or just over half a tenth shy of Peteypops, so very close at the top, and then Benny Rex right on his heels in the GR Supra as well. So 3 different cars on the in the front 3 spots. In fact, 4 going down to P4. Yeah. So the front 2 rows all in different cars. Then we've got another GR Supra for Womble in P5. I'm sure he'll be happy with a P5 qualifying for his first run in the season. Bev in the 650S. I don't know how good that is off the start. I do remember, I think it was not too flash on fuel last week, but I could be wrong. Laminator, GR Supra, Dazza Sturley, GR Supra as well in the 206s, the first 2 of them. And then we've got Rebs Law in P9 and Sylvia for Home Court. Des Johnson in the 86 with a 206.361. Malevolent One in the 86 as well. So the 86 is not performing here in Division 4. We did see some good results from them in qualifying and in the race in Division 1 and 3 last week. But apparently not able to extract all the pace they can in the qualifying session this time around. Let's see if they can improve on that in the race. It seems that the 86 is one of the better cars on fuel. So maybe that will come into play for them as we go through this race here. ICR Renegade rounds out the final spot on the grid in the Sylvia Spec R, the 207.355. And once again, we'll have a quick look at the track map for this round. 15 turns, 5.148 kilometers for the guys. No mandatory tyres, don't forget that. And then we're looking at a rain forecast for the end of the race. So we'll see how that turns out. If it's anything like Div 1 last week, we may not see rain at all. So these guys will be on their toes for this one. They've got no idea if the rain is coming or not. All they know is that it is forecasted. So, let's see what happens. Alright, so I think we might be ready to rock and roll.
Alright, starters orders.
Get your predictions down in the chat as to who you think will be At the top of the sheet at the end of this race, we've got Peteypops in pole position. Let's get all this set up. There we go. Lights will be coming on shortly. Let's see. There's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there's 4, there's 5. They're held. Revs are high. And they're off. Green lights all the way. And a great start for the Alpha there. Flying down to turn 1. BF. How close is he? Is he getting attacked by Benny? No. Guy with no skills is looking for it there. There was a bit of an exchange in positions. Laminator goes through, actually. So, very interesting there. But there's a clear gap here between 4th and 3rd. There might be a bit of a battle going on between the Black Rose car and the Lightning car there. You spot anything out of the ordinary there on the start, Graham?
No, it was a very clean start, and Benny just got a really good move up into 2nd on turn 2. So he's making his intentions known very early.
He's immediately under attack from the Lightning Motorsport car of Laminator there as well. Through the first few corners. So Peteypops will be happy to get away as strong as he did. He might come under threat from the Supra on the back straight here if he's not far enough away. We'll see how he goes through the first few corners here.
Yep. And Revs is making his moves through.
Yeah, and Revs P9 at the moment. The Hooncorp car, he's looking to the outside of Desert Sturley there. He pulls alongside, but he's going to be on the outside of the Schumacher S. That's not going to be a favourable position for him there. He has to drop back in. But he's looking racy. Looking very racy. Right on the back now, Desert Sturley. Womble there under pressure as well. In his Supra, he's lost touch with Debrev in front. Let's have a look. Peteypops has actually been usurped by evil-evoIX there somewhere along the line. There must have been a mistake. We haven't quite seen that, but the upshot is he's under pressure now from VF as well, and evil-evoIX is clearing off. He's 1.2 clear here. Now, everyone should be on the softs in theory because there's no mandatory tyre, so you would think that all of these guys would have selected the fastest tyre. Is there anyone on the medium tyre?
Yeah,
he's on the medium.
He's on racing medium, and he's the only one.
Well, if he banks on rain, he might actually have pulled a blinder there, because if he goes all the way to, you know, the last quarter of the race and then the rain comes, and all these other guys have already pitted and gone soft to soft, perhaps at the halfway point, he might actually be in with a one-stop less strategy than everyone else.
Yeah, and that's why, I mean, Revs and Dazza just pulled a big dive on him turn 1, just the mediums, he's just sort of falling back now through to P9.
Yeah, so he was under a bit of pressure, yeah.
If he can run a stop out, it will come back.
Yeah, well, it's about 25-30 seconds for a stop, not including fuel. And of course, fuel is just kind of a level playing field. Everyone's refueling at the same pace. So, you know, all he has to do is stay within 20 seconds of the leader, and he'll end up with a massive lead if he does get that extra pit stop. Does get that one less pit stop. Could be huge for him. So, one to watch, most certainly. Womble RMR. I presume he didn't qualify on the softs.
No, I'm not sure where he qualified at. What he qualified on?
He was
actually.
P5.
Yeah, P5. I was just thinking too about his fuel. If he can, oops, hang on, we've got, who's that? Daz is off. Just going through Schumacher. He's clipped a curb and he's into the wall.
Oh no! He's looped the Kraken Esports Supra there. Might have got a little bit too far on the curb. He's got a half-second penalty for his troubles as well. Just GT doing GT things, I think. Finds himself 7 seconds off the back of Keza.
Yeah, and if Womble can run his fuel out as well, a bit of a fuel save, it could play well and truly into his hands.
Well, I think the fuel save is a bit much for the Supra in the grand scheme of things. He probably couldn't go a no-stop, but if the rain comes at the right time towards the end of the race, he'll be in a brilliant position because he'll be able to refuel for the rain and take that stop for the intermediates or the wets at the same time. So could really benefit him where he's at right now. So he's possibly pulled the best strategy of the bunch. It's a bit risky, and we saw how risks turn out last week when I put on the slick tyres a little bit early and had some problems, along with many others who did the same thing. But you know, as far as risk goes, it's not too bad for him here. He's only, what is he now? He's 9.5 seconds off the lead, so he's not losing a ridiculous amount of time. He just has to kind of keep on pace, find a rhythm now that he's kind of stopped being bulldozed by all these drivers coming through, and he should be all good.
Yeah, just looking there, Benya is clearing out, but that, just looking at the fuel burn, he's probably level. Yeah, he's using the fuel, but he's definitely cleared out nearly 3 seconds.
Yeah, so interesting how that'll work. So some of the new viewers might not know, and we've got a 5 litre per second refuel rate on these cars. We're currently running 4 times fuel and tyre wear. So with 5 litres a second, if you imagine it this way, if Peteypops is able to save 5 litres over a stint, save himself 5 litres worth of a refuel, he will gain 1 second on old-wakie. So he would have to save, at this rate, he'd have to save 10 litres more than old-wakie in order to catch him. In fact, old-wakie has slowed right up there. He's lost about a second. I don't know quite what happened there. He might have got some dirty tyres somewhere. Still got a pretty comfortable lead. Pressure here from a guy with no skills looking down the outside of VF.
That's a hard place to pass there.
Yeah, very difficult. I think he was kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place for that one, so didn't really have much choice.
Yeah.
Jump on board.
Lemonade was on the grass just behind them, so he's dropped a spot to debrief.
Down the main straight. Alright, let's see if we can't have a look at the start from Womble's perspective. A couple of cars down the inside there. Right. He finds himself in 8th position, which is not too bad in the grand scheme of things. Still 9.9, so he's only lost about half a second to Benya over that lap, although I think it was a fairly poor lap from Benya after we saw him lose all that time that he had to the lead. Question in chat, what tyres is everyone on? Everyone is on the softs at the moment, apart from Womble down in P8, who started P5 on the medium tyres. And we were discussing just before the benefits of that potential strategy coming in, because we've got a forecast for rain. In fact, we'll have a look now at the rain that we've got going on for these guys. So there you have it in the bottom right hand corner. Sunny in the early stages with a bit of cloud coming in, and then rain at the end. So if we do see rain at the right time for Womble, then we might end up with a really good strategy call here, because of course the soft tyre runners will probably box for new tyres at about the halfway point if they can make it there. So we'll see how that plays out for him. More pressure again from a guy with no skills on VF. VF going a little bit deep into the chicane there. 3.3 now the gap to Benya, so he is continuing to pull away. How are we looking for fuel across the most of the field here?
No worries. We've got Benya with just a bit under 2/3. Popper's a little bit higher. VF on the 2/3 mark. Benya's tyres starting to rip into the fronts a bit, which the Supras can do. Popper's great tyre wear on the little Alpha. VF in the Merc, in between the two of them, not too bad. The left front on these does suffer a bit, but you can run them down a fair bit before you start losing them turn in. Guy with no skills, pretty much the same as VF on tyres, even across the front, and a bit under 2/3, deep rev. Pretty even and good tyre wear. Not quite
there.
Alpha standard, but yeah, and he's got a lightning car on the outside, Lambinator. But
he's going to go for it again. Oh.
Yeah, his fuel is not too bad, just under 2/3. Lambinator, he's definitely used more tyres and debris in front of him, and more fuel, so he's not leaving anything on the table. Revs
Rebs is
Also
up
using fuel.
P7.
Yep. Tyres aren't too bad, but certainly using a bit more fuel. Womble mediums, probably in line with the best, and his fuel's just under 2/3. 11 at 1, very much the same. Renegade, really good on his tyres and really good on his fuel. So probably best in class.
Running a conservative race.
Yep.
Up at the P10 as well. That's an improvement from the very start.
Yep. Kez's fuel is just under 2/3. Tyres in line with most. And Daz is a little bit more wear on the tyres. Fuel's not too bad, you know.
A little bit of time back on these guys as well. He's now at 3.5 seconds down. Or in fact, that's Keza serving a penalty up ahead, so that time's going to drop rapidly now until they get to the chicane here. But he was 7.5 seconds back when he had his crash earlier on, so he's done well to recover. We'll see what he can master towards the end of the race. Only 5 laps in here out of 19. The cloud cover is starting to come in, it seems. So that's what we expected in the middle of the race. See if that does anything for these guys. Peteypops, getting absolutely muscled there at turn 1. That was an absolute disaster. Someone came flying in. I think it might have been a guy with no skills. I can't quite remember.
About to say, there was only 2 seconds between 3rd and 7th, and it's ended like that.
We only just caught that. And there's another one from the Hooncorp car. Revs up into 5th now around the outside there. Wow, that was intense. I think a couple of cars must have got amongst it there. But Peteypops will not be stoked with that one.
No.
Let's have a look at this. Here we go on the main straight. This is your replay coming down. Into the braking zone. Late on the brakes for the Lightning car. Way back. Comes flying in. Absolutely takes him out. The Lightning car goes off with him as well. And does a full 180 to get back on track. So who was that? Was that Laminated? I think it was.
Yeah, Lightning was Laminated. Yeah. The comment in the chat, murder on the dance floor, definitely apt.
Oh, it's so good to have the replay function back in Gran Turismo, though. Even though it's not quite perfect yet, it allows us to see stuff that we missed, and you know that was a vital moment there for that. Womble now on the back of Peteypops. He's going to take this as well on the medium tyres. Do you think those softs are getting to the point where they're not good enough anymore?
They would. There's probably only a lap, maybe two in them. Benny's are way down. We're at the end of lap 6. In the last race, a lot chose to pit end of lap 6, end of lap 7. So.
Oh wow, Womble with a master stroke here. The mediums really finding their rhythm now. He gets past the pole sitter in the Alfa Romeo 4C there, just before the chicane, after being taken out at turn 1 on the last lap by this man, Laminator. So I'm sure you might have heard there, but there was an ominous clicking sound in the chat there from the steward's pens, noting down that incident. Manages to get it right this time around. So I think he was side by side with someone who must have just missed his brake mark, but it was a colossal send and absolute destruction on Peteypops' end. But we move on. We'll let the stewards deal with that in due course. 5 seconds now the gap between VF and BennyRX. So what's our fuel disparity between VF and Benny at the moment?
VF's halfway between half and 2/3. Benny is right on half. So this, all of the Supras that are pushing hard are down around that half tank.
That's probably about 10, 15 litres of fuel there, I would imagine.
Yeah, the timing differential's starting to get there, and also the clouds are thickening up a bit as well. So
they are. It's getting very ominous. We can't see the weather radar, but it's not looking flash. So VF might be looking at a 3-second jump here at pit stop when he does go to put fuel in, if he does pit at some point soon. Which will put him within about 1.5 seconds of Benny in front. So Benny is going to have to try pull out a bigger gap than he already has if he wants to keep this lead at the end of the pit stop period.
Yeah, and with the cloud comes cold, potentially cold track conditions as well.
That's true, yeah. So it can get a little bit slipperier. The tyres might manage to keep their temperature a little bit longer as well, though. So I guess we'll see. So you reckon 8 laps is probably the limit for the soft tyres for most of these guys?
Yeah, I think that's where it is. I mean, the original strategy when we were all practicing before these rounds was, you know, run 6-7 on the softs and come home on the mediums, or vice versa. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see just how long they stay out.
Yeah, the wet weather really threw a spanner in the works for these guys, I think. Really changed up their strategy. Womble in the background there, still with pressure from Peteypops. He's right behind him here at the Alpha.
Yeah, he's P6 and he's managed to keep it under 15 seconds back on the mediums.
Go Peteypops, what's he going to do? He can't quite get him this time around. Womble holding station at the moment, 2.5 seconds behind Revs. 14 or so behind the leader, with a improvement in pace coming in. He set it to a 5.9, but then he set it to a 7. Lost about a second in the lap following his overtake on Peteypops. But this will bear watching. I'm really interested to see how this goes for Womble. The McLaren now, P3. With a guy with no skills close behind in the Sylvia. And Revs Law up to P5. Was he on the second to last row on the grid?
I think he was.
Started from a long way back. Reminiscent of Lewis, who was another Hooncorp driver last week, who went from last to P3 in Division 1. A stalwart debut drive in Sector 1 for him. And Revs looking to emulate his teammate this weekend, sorry.
Yeah.
A identical Nissan Silvia.
He's actually really good on the tyres for the car. It's got good pace. It's at the cost of fuel. He's using a bit of fuel to pick up those spots.
I'm sure he'll be happy with where he is at the moment, and hopefully the disparity's not too much to cause him too many problems. That Sylvia's not too bad on fuel, so it could be worse. Benny comes in.
Out.
Oh, he's out.
No, he stays out. Yeah.
Did he double take there? Did he?
He was a bit taily out of the corner, I think. But
he's pulled a second on VF at some point there. Dadson Merck losing some time in the last sector around this lap. Big gaps between P1, 2, and 3, but not a huge difference in lap time across the board. This battle will be interesting. I'm very interested to see what a guy with no skills can do here. In fact, he's right on the back of Dobrev here. He might even go for a send into turn 1. Looks like he's saving a bit of fuel down the straight though. There we go. Into turn 1 we go. Just that apex, bit of rotation on the downhill part. Poor exit from Dobrev there. Going to put a guy with no skills right on the back of him. Here we go, up the inside into the left-hander. Very, very deep there. Is there going to be a switchback? No, no sign of a switchback. So he gets it done. The Black Rose car goes up into the podium position. And Revs is going to take advantage here as well. He gets a great exit there from the arena, Mercedes Arena, I believe that corner's called. The Merc going a little bit, McLaren going a little bit defensive into the left-hander there, but he's going to keep it where it is right now. Camera on Dobrev for the meantime. DP car currently in a Nissan Sandwich.
Yeah, that fuel disparity across the top 6 or 7 really starting to play out. VF, he's done a really good job on fuel and tyres on the Merc. I mean, they're showing a bit of wear, but they're well within the running zones.
Just driving a conservative race there then, I think. So we might see him really close that gap at a pit stop to Benier out the front.
So this is 19 laps, and this will be the end of lap 9.
10 laps
Just looking at those tyres on Benier's.
He must be in this lap,
getting
surely.
close. Yeah, must be getting to the close to the point where that turn is just not going to be there.
Well, they're about halfway. They're coming up on halfway. So now's not a bad time to do it. If he's going to bank on the rain coming in, as we see a move almost there from Revs Law on Dobrev into the chicane. He backed out of it in the last second, but he was real close on him. So clearly pushing the car a lot harder. It might be something that he's going to have to change up as the season goes on, because he might be in for a bit of a reality check when they come in for the pit stops and he sees a massive fuel disparity between himself and the McLaren of all things, which seems to be one of the worst cars for fuel in the Group 4 category here. He's right on it again. He's hard on the brakes there into every corner. That'll be where his tyres are going. Up the front, the gap's coming down a little bit. 4.5 seconds between VF and Benier. It was over 5 last time we checked in, so VF he's doing something right here in that Datsun Mercedes.
I'm not being biased, but it's a great car to drive.
Yeah, no, it does look nice. We actually nearly considered it for our team as well, but after the AMG GT3 got a massive power reduction in the BOP overhaul that came just before the season began, we decided not to. But the Group 4, still an excellent and very competitive car, as is displayed here by VF. Case in point, the Datsun team. Good result last week, I believe in Div 1, a top 5 if I recall correctly. And VF here now currently P2, closing in on the leader a little bit.
Yeah, no one will know if we painted 20, will they? It's only 200 mil longer. Said in jest.
It wouldn't be the first time there's been queries about money in the Sector 1 franchise. CP can tell you all about that. With their fancy helicopter and things like that.
Rev's got a really good run on Rev coming into.
Going to be forced to the outside. We've seen this a few times before. He's really pressuring him though. I'm surprised we haven't seen a mistake from Debrev yet, because he's under a lot. And with 22 litres, what does VF do? Does VF blink? No, he doesn't. He goes around again. A lot of guys going around again. Into lap 10, they're past halfway. It's time to pit. Surprised to see VF and Revs going around again. Might be going for an overcut. Do the opposite of the guy in front of you. 27 litres for a guy with no skills. 33 for Debrev. Great save there for Debrev.
Yeah, I miss it. Keza and Dazza have been in and pitted.
Down P11, P12. Dazza pulling that gap back to Keza a little bit as well. Still down to 2.5 now. These guys holding station pretty well. Revs up P2 with Peteypops behind there now, who's cleared out 4.5 seconds from Womble. 5 now. Looks like Womble's had a bit of an accident through the tight, tricky section of Sector 1. Not the franchise, the sector of the track, of course, not to be confused. But Peteypops catching up to Revs Law, who's had a fantastic drive so far, and Peteypops hasn't been pushing the car too hard, has he?
No, and he's on this lap, he's 0.4 under his fastest lap. His tyres are in really good shape, and fuel's not too bad either. So
Revs a little bit wide there.
Yeah, depending on what happens to the track, that cloud is thickening up a bit more.
I wonder if any of these, none of the guys have put on intermediate tyres or anything, have they? Can't see something we can't.
No, no.
Still heat waves coming off the track, so plenty of temperature in it there. As VF comes around, he's going to head up towards the chicane now. Second down on his best time, 205.7. So he's in the 206s at the moment. It's definitely time to pit in. He might be hanging out for some rain. Might be trying to run the tank dry. Don't know. See if he comes in this time around. Nice little leap over the curbs there. Final
Staying out.
series of corners. Will stay out. Revs, what does Revs do? Must be time for Revs to come in. He's worn this car down to its limit. In he comes. Peteypops goes around again. It's very interesting from these guys. They must be doing rain dances in the pit lane there for Doghouse and for Datsun. Hoping for the worst or the best, depending on what your opinion is on rain. And of course, Womble as well. Let's not forget the medium tyre runner, so he'll go a few more laps potentially. How much fuel do you think how many laps do you think he's going to get out of his tank from here?
He's just under a third, so
Got a few to go then.
probably, yeah, he could probably run 3, yep.
So if he goes to lap 14 from here, into lap 14, it's very possible that he could see the rain on the radar if it comes in at that time. So I think this could work out for him. See what he does. His tyres aren't too bad, are they?
Oh, his tyre, he's in good shape with his tyres on the medium. It just depends whether the forecast is like bombing and it actually happens and does rain or it doesn't. But
yeah,
it's certainly grey skies, certainly grey skies.
Following the forecast at the moment, and a reminder of the forecast as well. Here it is on the bottom corner of your screen. So we're into the middle stages now, lap 12 of 19. Probably coming up on that rainy period if the forecast is accurate. So yeah, Womble's looking out for it. Best he can hope is that the likes of VF and Peteypops are forced to pit for new softs now, and then the rain comes down and they find themselves having to pit again. We'll see what happens. Things are looking up for the Red Mist team owner. Laminator now on his tail as well in the Lightning Motorsport Supra after a massive incident earlier on, but he has recovered. He was hamstrung by that incident as well. He did end up spinning out himself. So it wasn't just one innocent driver affected. It wasn't just the innocent driver affected. The culprit was also punished in his own way. But he's had a good recovery here to catch up to Womble. I think he was
in the pits.
Way down. VF in.
Yeah, if you could get the best of, if you could get Popper's tyres and VF's fuel, you'd have a winner.
Yeah, combination of the pair. You know, some of these guys in Div 4s, they've absolutely mastered one aspect of the game, and it makes them a feared opponent in these races. And as demonstrated by VF, he's going to find himself in a good position after his pit stop. In fact, I'd have a look at Benny, who's coming around the last corner. I think he's going to clear VF here. How much fuel did Benny put in? Did he do all right there?
51, I think it was. So 26.
Right,
Yeah,
so he's put enough.
I think that's about 7 laps.
There's VF. He's out in front. Look at that. 1.5 seconds clear.
It's clear, yeah.
And he's on the softs, I presume.
Yep, 4-second deficit. So that's that fuel save.
Oh, okay. There you have it. So a huge improvement for VF. So he finds himself essentially. It's kind of hard to look at it this way at the moment, but it is kind of the net lead if you think about it. If we assume that everyone else owes one more pit stop, but with the rain coming, we could see some guys forced to do a second one.
Yeah.
So
and
Peteypops will be
on the
looking at
fuel
it.
light.
So
Yeah,
he'll probably be in this lap, won't he?
Yeah, and he just did his second fastest lap of the race before it, so he's still got pace.
Yeah. He's killing it. 12 laps on the soft tyres. 13. Count this lap. Bit of an
He could go
apex miss there.
another 5, I reckon.
Wide there. Yeah. That's fantastic. He's very wide of the apex there. What's going on? That must have been dirty tyres, I think. So he's a bit off this lap, so I imagine he'll be in for a fresh set of boots. He'll be looking at the rain radar on the way up to this this chicane, getting a message in his ears. Interzor slicks. See what goes on there. Let's check back down a little bit further. Malevolent one in for the Deeds outfit in the 86. So everyone's pitted now, I think, except for Peteypops, Womble, and Laminator. Is that correct?
Yeah. Womble, yeah. Laminator, they're both in. Womble and Laminator are both in.
Oh, wow. The Womble's come in possibly a bit early. I wonder if they see
Renegator's
something we
stayed
don't.
out. He's got really good fuel on board, and his tyres are in good shape.
Hey, into the lead goes ICER Renegade and the Hooncorp Sylvia. It's well clear of VF as well, so I presume he can't go all the way on the fuel and tyres, or can he?
It's close.
What's his fuel like in comparison to VF and Benny?
He's over a third.
And VF
over a
is
third.
just under half, is that right?
VF just under half. Benny is just over
Wow.
half. Deep Rev's just under half.
So what that tells me as well is Benny can go hell for leather all the way to the end, assuming there's no
Yeah.
rain.
They can pull the most out of the Supra. That's right. Yep.
So
And-
VF
and
might have
same
put
with
himself in a
Debrev.
compromised position here. Debrev too, yep. But he's 9 seconds back, so he's going to have a lot of work to do to catch up to the guys at the front. A guy with no skills, still hanging around. He seems to be on the back bumper of someone at every point in this race, somehow. There's always a guy with no skills in the rearview mirror of someone.
Yeah.
DP McLaren holding off the Black Rose Sylvia. 3/10 the gap, 4/10 now, but still the pressure's there.
Actually, did Renegade come in and have an early stop on lap 3? I think he might have early stopped. No, yeah, I have to think about that.
I don't know.
I was just looking at his lap times. He's just been really solid, and but that fuel and tyre differential's tremendous.
Yeah, he's off the pace of the leaders at the moment, but he's got a 6.5 second gap to play with 6 laps remaining after this one. Oh, sorry, yeah, 5 laps. No, you're right. 5 laps to go. So if he loses a second a lap, he should still win. Hezza finds himself down the back. Laminator's down in P11. I don't know what happened there.
D-Brev's got a lot of... Guy with no skills, he's really putting some pressure on at the moment.
Has he got a better car underneath him? More fuel, more tyre?
Very similar. A little bit more fuel, but other than that, they're very similar.
Very interesting. Just matched for skill. Hell for leather all the way, start to finish. Battle for the ages. P4. Unfortunately, there's not a podium. Then he has dropped off VF a little bit. VF's putting in a great stint here with a slightly compromised fuel load. Catching up to Renegade as well. It's now down to 5 seconds. So he's losing a bit more than a second a lap, but he's still got plenty of time to work with. He's definitely on a massive fuel save though.
Yeah, I reckon he's got to stop. I'm not sure he'll make that through. Not being able to hold off the guys behind him.
He's on the softs, isn't he? So they must be
racing
absolutely
softs.
cooked.
They've got a couple of laps. He could probably get home on the tyres, but I think the guys behind him on full fuel will be able to fresher tyres.
Well, look, a podium could be on because, you know, Benny is 2 seconds behind VF, so he'll still have to catch him after VF does, assuming VF does. And then there's 10 seconds to Debrev. So the podium could still be on for Renegade here, even if he can't quite get the win. Assuming he can maintain this pace all the way to the end. He's running mid-208s at the moment. I think VF is in mode push now. He's done a 205.9. He's purple through the final sector. He's done a great lap here. Unfortunately, we can't actually see what the fastest lap is because the heads-up display has done Gran Turismo things and is refusing to show it to us. Probably a bug with the replay. But that's alright. We don't need it because we're probably going to see it happen right here.
Yeah, Renegade's in the pits.
Oh, and he comes. He hasn't seen rain, has he? That's a possibility, isn't it? 20 litres left. He's done a fantastic job on the fuel there. 0.6, 204.7
Wow.
for VF. He's absolutely laying it down now.
I'm complaining to the team owner. I want that car.
Datsun Racing is here to win. In the Mercedes, which no one thought would be a good idea, apart from most of their team. Yeah. The Datsun team knew something we didn't. And here he is. VF leading the way in Division 4 by nearly 2.5 seconds over a Supra.
I'm not sure if that's mist or rain.
Well, no wipers on the cars at the moment, which suggests no rain yet, but it could be coming any minute. But no pit stops further down. Renegade's come out in P7. That's a fantastic net gain for him there. Probably managed to sort himself out a bit for fuel. And Revs Law, his Herncorp teammate, right behind him, P8. Could be good points finishes for those guys. Did Womble put on the soft tyres?
Womble did, but Laminator's come out on intermediates.
Ah. That explains why he's dropped so far down. And, you know, that's a problem as well because at this point, after 3 laps, the intermediates in dry conditions, they're burnt to a crisp. They can't
they're
deal with it.
starting to cook. They're definitely starting to cook, yeah.
Well off the pace here as well. That's, you know, those are slower than the racing hards, and we know how slow they are compared to the soft tyres. We got our fastest lap back though, 204.7. There we go, on the display. According to the stranger, he's got the message over the radio from his driver on Prac at the moment that there is rain coming. So Peteypops reporting rain inbound. So who's going to take the risk and try go for that extra lap? It looks like the top 2 are both going around again.
Yeah, they've driven past.
Does Debrev blink?
No, he's gone past.
Feels safe enough. A guy with no skills also following suit, Peteypops, who reported the rain, is going around again. Womble right on his tail. He's caught him up again. These guys have been separated. They're like a rubber band. They get separated
he's
by...
got- Oh, great run onto the straight from Womble.
Yeah, and that Alpha's got no legs here on the straight either, so he's going to cruise on by here, I think. Should be easy done. All around the outside, tries Peteypops. Can he do it? Hold the inside for the next one? Not quite. He tried it. He tried
It
it.
was good racing by him, good racing.
Yeah, good racing from the pair of them, I think. Plenty of room to account for latency as well, which is a really good move for these guys.
Yeah, if it does start to rain here, they've got this lap on their softs, they'll be right, because there'll be plenty of heat in the track.
No wipers for the leaders yet either. But it looks like the rain isn't coming down yet. It might just be a graphic on the radar at the moment.
VF's opened that gap up by about 0.4.
We go on board now with Peteypops in the slipstream of Womble. Half a second separates them. The closest battle on track at the moment, possibly. Revs and Renegade behind, also very close together. Very late on the brakes there from the Alpha. You see how much it closes up in the braking zone into a hairpin. The light weight making so much difference, and then as soon as they're on the way out, off goes the Supra. Massive, massive power differential. Bit of a gain up the Schumacher S there. Not enough, but see how late Peteypops can go on the brakes. Turns it in, very nice. He's been struggling with this sequence of corners a couple of times in the race that we've seen. Here he goes. He's much closer to Womble this time around. Well down on his fastest lap time, but I think he'll have one thing on his mind right now, and that'll be to get past Womble. Have a look up the top. The gap has stagnated between the top two. Hovering around that 2-second mark. No change. 2:05.9 that lap for Benia, and a 2:05.9 for VF as well. He's laid down that fastest lap and then backed off a little bit, I think. Put the car in fuel save mode. But those two have cleared off from Debrev and a guy with no skills. Fantastic
Yeah, and
gap.
VF's got the best tyres of the three of them, and they're pretty line ball on fuel.
I think it's going to take a miracle to take this away from VF. Lap 18 as well now, and no sign of rain yet, no wipers on. Reports of rain coming in, but I think with only a lap to go, it'd be a little bit crazy to pit in for intermediates at this point. It's threatened though, it's certainly threatened. Sky is very, very ominous. See Laminator come in off his intermediates, he's going to put on his softs. No time to go for the fastest lap, is there? Or he might do. He could go for the fastest lap on lap 19. But see what Laminator can do. Go for that extra point. Nab it in early. Nab it in late. Nab it in at some point. Gonna give it a crack. But he's got a 2:04.7 to beat, and that's going to take a lot of beating. It was a 2:05 that took pole, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was 2:05.2, I think it was.
Yeah, so he's put the hammer down and for that one lap, has VF, and said, beat that, I think. A lot of fog down now. Can't see a thing. Wow.
Certainly with these cloudy skies, Div 2 might be a wet race to start in the Arvo.
Yeah, looking like it. That is what the forecast says. Bit of rain, then bit of dry, and then bit of rain. So
That's damp. That track's wet there.
it looks it, doesn't it?
Yeah.
See heat waves
Last
coming
lap.
off on the main straight though, so I think it's certainly dry enough for slicks. These guys not blinking at all. Full commitment from our drivers here. 1.8 the gap. I don't think VF is going to let this slip away, but we'll see what happens as the race goes on. One lap to go. The Brevin P3 still tailed by a guy with no skills. 0.7 between them now. Peteypops with Womble all over him once again. They've been changing positions back and forth almost all race. Let's see if Womble has something for him. We thought about it there for a second. Nothing doing for the GR Supra. Is that Womble out of fuel? Is Womble out of fuel?
Yep, he is.
Oh my goodness, a lap to go and he's run out of fuel. That's a disaster. What can he do? There goes Renegade.
Renegade's on the fuel lot.
And
I actually
Revs
thought
goes through as
Womble
well.
had enough fuel there, so I'm not sure what happened.
Wow.
Yeah.
Tragic end
unfortunate.
for Womble. He was doing so well. You know, P5, nothing to sneeze at in this lobby. As it goes through. Malevolent 1. He get past
VS
as well.
controlling this really well at the
There he
front.
goes.
2.16.
He's in. He's absolutely nailed this. This is such a calm, collected race from VF. He's done so well. And in the Merc as well, something that a lot of people said was not going to be the best car, even in Group 4. 2.5 seconds now he's pulled out.
Great lap times. Very consistent.
Got further down. Keza goes past Womble. Laminator, who he's a minute down from Womble. Can he catch him? Womble now down at the hairpin, coming out. So he will be able to cruise around at 80Ks. The game does allow it, even with no fuel. But he'll be very slow all the way home. 33 seconds down, as you see, on the track right now. See if we can keep it. We've missed our winner across the line, but VF
across the line.
2.1 seconds clear of his nearest rival, and then 14 to the next one. A dominant display, even after he didn't lead the first stint. Benia did, but a fantastic pit strategy. Debrev beats guy with no skills home. P3, P4. Peteypops in the Alpha manages to hold on to P5 after going pole in the qualifying session. Renegade P7. Revs. Oh, we've had a short ending there. I think Womble's going to get away with his fuel loss there because we didn't have the setting for the end of the race long enough. But that's all right.
Just getting those screenshots sorted.
That's run and
So
done
is it-
for our boys. And
Yep.
righto. Here we are. Our results for round 1, Div 4. After a long race that threatened rain, different tyre strategies, some on soft, some on medium, some on intermediates, which some would question. VF takes the first round victory for Division 4 in stunning fashion. Fastest lap and victory, and I believe he was second row start. So he had to work for it. Benia made him work for it. He had a fantastic first stint there, but wasn't enough for the ever clever VF. They had a fantastic pit strategy and perfect fuel saving. Managed to clear him and hold that gap for the second stint. And Benia just had no answer. Debrev in the 650S and P3, another good result from the CP Motorsports team. A guy with no skills, the first Nissan to cross the line. P4, just off the podium by about half a second. Fighting Debrev all the way. Peteypops, the pole sitter, and the 4C comes across the line in P5 there. Renegade, P6, and Revslaw, the two Hooncorp teammates, in P6 and 7. Dazza Sturley in the GR Supra for Kraken Esports in P8. Malevolent 1 and Keza Johnson in the 286s for Deeds and Brocchio 5 Racing in P9 and 10. Womble takes P11, got away with it in the end over Laminator, with the race ending earlier than it necessarily should have. But running out of fuel at the start of the last lap, a killer mistake, and I'm sure a mistake that won't be made again. We'd have to ask if Red Mist took on the Deeds fuel man that was let go several seasons ago for this season. Quite interesting, because I know it's been quite interesting actually. The Deeds team, we know they have a history of having a bit of a dodgy fuel man issue with fuel. Which they let him go a few seasons ago, but rumor has it that this season they've deleted the fuel gauge from the 86. The Subaru team decided to offer it as an option, and the Deeds team said no, so they didn't take a fuel gauge. So the Deeds team running on instinct alone this season, but the first victim of a fuel issue, Womble. Division 4. P11 there. So congratulations to the podium, VF, Benia, Debrev. A fantastic result from those guys, and I think they'll be very, very happy with that one. What are your thoughts, Graham? Good race.
Oh, look, definitely good race. Really impressed with the way VF managed the car to put him in that position, and then to cut the last 6 laps, to cut them, you know, so fast and so consistent. That was a great drive. I thought Poppers did well to get back to 5th.
Yeah, he got absolutely annihilated in that incident.
Annihilated, yeah. And but I'll tell you, there's a few guys there that, you know, there's probably another 4 or 5 that have shown some real speed for the next round when they get into Group 3.
Yeah, that was impressive. I'll be interesting to see how VF goes in the Group 3 Merc, to be honest, because it's lacking a bit in the old straight line speed department, and we know the Supras, they are straight line speed merchants. But a great first result for the Dadson team there. Who would you pick as your driver of the day?
My driver of the day would be VF, just on, you know, over the whole 19 laps, what he did. Yeah, no, VF's got it for me. Yeah.
He's had a great result there. Now, I'm not a big fan of giving driver of the day to the winner of the race, but I would agree he's had a fantastic race there and perfectly controlled it. I do want to make an honourable mention to Peteypops. In fact, I'll give my driver of the day to Peteypops for his recovery from that incident. Fantastic. You know,
and Poppers gave it to himself too. He voted driver of the day, Peteypops.
Yeah, he never gave up after that one, and he even had a wily womble to deal with on the way back up to P5 there. But a fantastic job, I think, nonetheless. So yeah, really well done to him. 2 great results there. And Benia, after dropping from Div 3 to Div 4, getting a performance right at the top end, he'll be happy with that. And of course, Debrev for CP on the podium, I think he'll be well. And good debut for a guy with no skills as well. First race in the main series, and a good result. P4, really gave it to the podium finisher. P3, but you know, it was a great race up and down the field, I think.
Yeah, and the manufacturers spread around. That was good to see as well.
All right, team. So after that, a little bit of action that we've had for you there. We've got Div 2 coming up next. We're going to go to a break now for 5 minutes, but don't go anywhere and get excited for Division 2 coming right up. I'm super excited for this one. Got such a tight field, so drop your predictions in the chat while we're away here for who you think will go pole, who you think will win, any other predictions, fastest time, fastest lap, pole time, whatever you want to drop them in chat, and we'll see who gets the closest. All right, and we are back. Who's ready for some Division 2 action for the Sector 1 Round 1 of Season 7 here at Nurburgring GP? Now, more again of the rain forecast for these guys in Division 2. Bit more of a challenge, hopefully, for them. We're expecting some rain at the start and rain at the end. Now, if you don't remember, some of the guys in our Division 2 grid, a lot of you guys may have seen the grid lineups in the Discord. If you're not part of the Discord, check our description and you can join. Anyone can join from the link in there. But our Division 3 champion from last season, Dadson, team owner of Dadson Racing, is present in Division 2 this season, so he'll be looking to make a mark nice and early. We've got 2 Dadson cars for you guys, 2 Doghouse cars for you guys tonight, 2 Blacklight cars as well, and a few debutants here for our race tonight. So it's looking pretty exciting. And I am joined in the combox for Division 2 tonight by the one and only Carbon Boy. How you doing tonight, mate?
Good evening, everybody. I'm doing pretty darn well on this Sunday evening.
What have you picked up on in the practice sessions?
Well, the blatantly obvious being that most of these Div 2 guys are stupidly faster than I am.
What sort of times are we laying down?
Well, scarily enough, some of the faster guys are running in the 2-minute 3-second bracket.
Wow. We were almost. That was almost what we were seeing for the Division 1 guys in the drive. So really high standards here.
I do have the feeling that may not have been the true pace. I have the feeling they were holding back a little bit.
Yeah, there's some big names in this lobby. I think we're going to see some great racing. So once again, to run you through, if you're watching from home or wherever you're watching from, this is our race brief for tonight. Nurburgring GP. We're now up to Division 2, so you can see the forecast down there on the bottom left of your screen. We're looking at a bit of rain at the start, followed by a bit of rain in the mid-race, and then we're expecting, although chances are it may not happen, rain at the end of the race as well. So we'll keep an eye on the weather radar and see what's happening there. No mandatory tyres for our drivers tonight, so we're expecting to see mostly soft runners after the qualifying. And speaking of qualifying, why don't we kick her in the guts? I think we are ready to rock for these guys in Division 2. I'm so excited for Division 2. I think it's one of the tightest fields we've ever seen in Division 1, in Sector 1, in any division, really. So, yeah, real exciting times.
Alright, just waiting for everyone to enter in, and then we can get this party started.
Right, head back to our... Not far away, so we've keeping the official settings a little bit of a secret from the guys on track at the moment. So the settings are now available for everyone to see, and as soon as they are all taken, we will be kicking the qualifying in the guts. 13 drivers tonight.
The big red button has been pushed.
Nice. Love to see it. 13 drivers for us tonight, so one more than Div 4 we had before. So one absentee, which is not too bad in the grand scheme of things, I don't think.
It is quite wet.
There we go, and we're looking at rain straight off the bat.
Yes, I'm that slightly sadistic kind of person who doesn't want to let the guys know exactly what weather they're in for straight away.
No, but it's coming down, isn't it? It's really coming down for these guys.
It's good fun keeping them on their toes. Just seeing who can adapt on the fly.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see. So you can see the moisture level from your end. What are we looking at the moment for these guys?
We're looking at just in the bottom third of the moisture meter.
Okay, so that tells me, depending on how much rain's coming down, these guys are good to use slick tyres for qualifying.
They'll be, provided no more rain comes down, they'll get away with it.
Yeah, well, it might be a tough one. The rain is coming down, and it's looking fairly heavy as well. We're seeing a lot. It's visible on stream, which is, you know, not too normal. So that tells me that there's plenty coming down. So we've got our eyes on the front two on track at the moment. So we're currently looking at Dadson, our Division 3 champion. You can tell by the yellow windscreen banner there on his car, and the Dadson Mercedes, as we saw driven in the first race of the night. Crazy Good Kung Fu takes over at the front in the Porsche for evil-eVoIX. Very exciting. First Porsche that I've seen on track. I don't know where the other one is. I think they might have been the absentees in Division 4. In any case, the debut of the Porsche in this Sector 1 season. evil-evoIX, evil-evo9, currently second on track, the number 4 car for the Doghouse Motorsport team. Another Alpha, so we'll see what they can do this time around. I'm loving the Alpha liveries, by the way. The different colours. It reminds me of how Red Mist used to do it. They used to have a car after each different sort of can design. Very similar thing they got going on here. It looks fantastic. Alphas. There's Dadson P3 across the line. There's your second of the 2 Doghouse cars. The red this time for Pat Star. Big things expected from him. Word on the street is he's looking very, very quick. Smidmate in the Red Mist Racing Supra, so another Red Mist Supra in Division 2. So he'll be looking to impress this time around as well. Karen, who has made appearances in Division 1 in the past, drops to Div 2, so he'll be looking to be right up the front here tonight. Old-wakie, father of young-wakie, who had a great performance last week in his debut in Division 1, the Division 2 champion. He'll be looking to do the best he can tonight and this season, see if he can get promoted up alongside the young one in the top flight. Stickers, team owner for Lightning Motorsport there in the GR Supra, currently the 8th driver on track. I think he's got the pace to go pole here tonight as well. We've just had Race Fan go off behind in the CP Motorsports McLaren. I think there might be more moisture on track than we can see. So, very interesting there. See that. So that's ruined his first lap. He'll probably box in for some new tyres, I would imagine. But we will see that later on. Salazar Black, also for ICER Esports, or ICER Esports. I can't remember which way that's supposed to be pronounced. In the Porsche, down in the 10th spot. Looking good. Lunacy, heard great things about him in the Ferrari for Blacklight. So he'll be hoping for wet weather because that Ferrari is a rocket ship in the wet conditions, allegedly.
Just keep an eye on him. I don't think he'll be wanting wet weather just at the moment because he's on an outlap at the moment. He pulled into the pits to get rid of the inters and throw on a set of racing softs.
Okay. Very interesting. So he's on an outlap at the moment.
Yes. He's just done the pit stop to change tyres.
DP Mario for Black Rose Racing. His Sector 1 debut today. Crazy Good Kung Fu goes 213 first time around, so wet weather definitely playing a part here. We've got Cruisin in the second Blacklight car in P13, or sorry, 13th down there. Who's that?
Oh, Karen into P1. He will be cheering.
Karen goes provisional pole by 0.078 ahead of the Red Mist car of Smidmate. It looks like the track is beginning to dry because the wipers are off, so these guys will be probably putting the slicks on as DP Mario goes to provisional pole with a 211.4. So, and there's Cruising as well. They're dropping like flies. As this track dries, these guys will get faster. So, expect to see quick times coming in thick and fast every lap here. So, Crazy Good Kung Fu, who was one of the first to set a time, finds himself down in P7, 2.5 seconds off the current provisional pole time.
That is a fairly sizable gap, but given the track conditions and the
there he is, he's purple.
Tires.
Yeah, I think it's the drying track that's causing it. We saw it last week in Division 1, and here it is again. So all the cars going considerably faster. The question is, will he set his lap this time around? So who's on what tyre here that we can see? Is everyone on slicks?
Cruising? DP Mario. Hang on, I'll just let me. All right, so the top 5 are on the racing soft. Then you've got old-wakie and old-wakie, CGK, and Salazar on the inters, with Patstar, evil-evo, Dadson. Well, let's just say the rest of the field on the racing softs. So there's only three drivers on the inters at the moment.
And the guys on the inters don't appear to be boxing for new tyres either. Do they not have time? They must do. They've got 3 minutes to do an outlap. There we go.
I'm
Kung
just
Fu with
riding on
212.
board.
207 from the slick tyre runners.
Salazar at the moment. I wanted to see if he boxes. Yes, he's boxing.
I saw that. I don't know if we can capture a replay. In qualifying, we can. Here you go. Look at this. Caught in the act. Kung Fu
CGK.
teleports back to the pits.
Yes, I did.
That'll be a clip
See
from
that
the
magically.
stewards' pins.
I
Well,
think,
it is his
I
debut,
think-
so we'll see what they say. But, you know, it's not the first time we've seen someone make that mistake. But we'll carry on. Carry on. He definitely should have pitted in that lap, so certainly an error. It's possible that he realised too late, but we'll let the stewards deal with that in due course. Lunacy currently provisional pole in the Ferrari, so he's on the racing softs at the moment, isn't he?
Sorry, who was that? Lunacy?
Yep.
He is indeed.
205,
He is
that's
indeed
going to
on
be
the
hard
racing
hard to beat, because the track may be drying, but 205's fairly quick, and he's 1 second purple as well. Oh, he's flying. I heard words from people about how quick this guy was, and it looks like he's here to rock Division 2. Driving fantastically. Let's have a look at Cruisin' in the other ammo car, the Blacklight team. Comes through, not far behind his teammate.
He is definitely a driver to watch. Cruisin' is quite quick at the best of times as he goes.
Yep, he's
purple
also
by a
1
second.
second purple, so they're on the same pace here. So clearly
He's
Lunacy's
quite a
not
quick-
going to have it easy.
He's quite a quick driver at the best of times, but you put him into a car that he absolutely loves, and he does love this Ferrari, and he just seems to step up to another level.
Cruisin's had some fantastic performances in Sector 1 in the past, and he's a very, very aggressive driver that a lot of guys fear seeing in the rearview mirror. So definitely one that's hard to race, hard to beat. As evil-evo goes provisional pole, Stu Smitty goes provisional pole by 0.055. Lunacy Stickers goes pole by half a second with a 204.7. Lunacy coming round the final corner very shortly. Let's have a look. He's not far behind Cruisin', so Cruisin' will go across first. DP Mario, race
Cruisin's
fan.
going pole.
He's pole by half a second.
Oh,
Lunacy goes faster again by 0.196, nearly 2/10. 204 flat. These guys will get one more lap. This will be the one. This will be the 203. And if you can't make it happen, you're not going to have pole. That's how it's going to be. Who's going to get the first 203 in Division 2? Run's still on track. We'll have a look down now at Kung Fu, who's just in front of the Ferrari of... Is that Cruisin'? I think it's Cruisin'. It is Cruisin'. So he'll be looking to set his best lap this time around. The lap won't be invalidated by the end of qualifying, but he will probably serve a penalty on the grid or something at the next round based on that error in qualifying. He's under no obligation to move out of the way of Cruisin' here. Cruisin's closing right in. He's 3/10 up on his best, but he's not purple, interestingly. old-wakie down P12. He'll be looking to perform this time around. What's he through the second sector? He's blue by a small margin. He's going to need quite a lot to clear that. He must be on the inters still. Looks like Salazar Black in a very similar position. No, he might have put the softs on because he's 4.5 seconds clear of his best time. evil-evo with a 204.7. It's mid-mate. Lunacy
only one
still
driver.
clear. Stickers goes
Only
pole.
one. Only one driver still on the intermediates at the moment, and that is old-wakie. Might have been
Where is
predicting a little
Cruzen?
more moisture.
Cruzen's about to cross the line. Ahead of Lunacy. Does he improve? He doesn't. Lunacy doesn't improve. It looks like it might be a pole position for Lightning Motorsport. Stickers McQueen, as he's referred to by Ghost on many occasions. Provisional pole here, and that might be it.
Wow.
old-wakie goes across the line. He's down on his time. Salazar Black
That
will
is-
be the last to clear the line here.
That is a clutch lap from Stickers. I was watching him earlier on in that lap, and he was only 1/10 up on his personal best.
He's done a fantastic job there, I think.
He's
Pole
just pulled
position. He'll be stoked with that. What a start.
He will be cheering.
Absolutely smoking.
Just-
The only Div 2 driver to set a 203. So let's have a look at our results. Here you have it. Stickers McQueen. Stickers 63. Takes pole position with a 203.953 in the Supra for Lightning Motorsport. Lunacy P2 in the 458 Italia with a 204.002. Ever so close to that elusive 203. Karen in the 86, which we missed actually, in P3 there. So a fantastic qualifying from him. He'll be happy to be on the second row there ahead of Smidmate in the GR Supra for Red Mist with a 204.127. Not a large gap between third, fourth, and fifth, where Cruzen sits in the 458. The Ferrari for Blacklight Racing with his teammate in P2. Less than 2/10 between second and fifth there. So I think we're going to see a cracking race from these guys, and I don't think Stickers is going to run away with it either. He's going to have a lot of pressure from Lunacy, and I can see Cruzen getting his elbows out at the start here and looking to make some moves early on. Race Fan in the 650S also flew under the radar that qualifying session with a 204.452 P6 there, and DP Mario on his Sector 1 Main Series debut in the Sylvia for Black Rose Racing, 204.552. evil-evoIX with the 4C for Doghouse gets P8. And we move on to the second page. We've got the SLS AMG of Dadson, Div 3 champion of yester season, with a 205.158. He'll be looking to get further up the grid than that. I know that he's one that does not like to be near the back of the field. He'll be looking to podium during the season. We'll see if he can get inside the top 5 at some point in this race. The two Porsches in P10 and P11, Salazar Black and Crazy Good Kung Fu, with a 205.593 and a 6.175 respectively. Pat Star in the 4C for Doghouse with 206.787 in P12. And old-wakie, who ran the entire session on the intermediate tyres with a 212, will start at the back of the grid, look to make up positions at the start. So it'll be interesting to see what these guys start the race on in terms of tyre, because of course we are going to see a little bit of the rain as we did at the start of the qualifying session. But it looks like staying on the slick tyres and dropping a pit stop is the ideal thing to do, as long as you can keep it on the track.
I'm just thinking, there's been a lot of inside Sector 1. There's been a few jokes floating around about a certain driver being a bit of a sandbagger. Now, I don't think that's the case anymore, because I was in a practice lobby earlier with a certain driver in this lobby who was not exactly confident in their abilities and was saying, oh, you know, I'm going to struggle, I can't get a handle on the car. I won't name names, but he's gone and put himself into P3. So, I think the Sandbagger Award now has been transferred from...
don't say his name. I'm going to test the chat with this one. We're going to test the chat.
Okay.
Can anyone in chat remember who got P3? There you go. Don't scroll back on the scroller. I know you can do that on YouTube. But if you can correctly put in the P3 place in the chat, drop it in right now before we kick this race in the guts. But are we ready to rock and roll, Carbon Boy?
I am ready to punch that button.
All right, let's do it. So, Div 2 action coming up. Remember who was P3? Who was it? Drop it in the chat. We're about to put the lights out. ToeJam says Dadson. Shizer says Karen. And Shizer would be correct. P3 on the grid is KarenUnleashed. And it looks like he's really wrapped his head around it. for qualifying here.
Alrighty. Now this is the German version of Monza. T1, it can get a little spicy.
Alright, the lights are on, the wipers are on, and they're off and racing. A great start from the Alpha at the back there, you might have seen that, and also a good start from Stickers right up the front. We'll have a look back a little bit further. Karen's been swamped here by cars either side. 86 there, he's going to go for a move here. The two Ferraris in front of him. A little bit of a latency bump there from those guys, and the CP Motorsports McLaren up the inside there. They're 3 wide as they head into turn 2. They managed to sort it out. The two Doghouse cars, there's contact with the CP Motorsports car there as well. No one with too much death there, but the rain is really playing havoc with these guys, and Karen is getting absolutely swamped here by the two Alphas, bullied around by these guys in these wet conditions. I don't know who's on which tyres, but it's looking pretty hectic out there. But the upshot is, Smidmate leads the way. Smidmate leads the way? When did that happen? Stickers in P2, Lunacy in P3.
I was waiting for you to notice that.
I didn't see it, but we'll catch it on a replay later. But Smidmate leads the way from Stickers somehow on the way through there. And we've got the two Blacklight cars in P3 and 4. These guys are a force to be reckoned with here, I think. And Cruising goes up the inside of his teammate there. This could be interesting. What are the team orders here? And they've got DP Mario behind, who's a very quick operator. A lot of guys know. The Doghouse Motorsport car there of Petstar getting a little bit sideways on the exit of the hairpin there. The CP Motorsports McLaren is only just managed to keep it behind. All the wipers on. Bit of flashing of lights from these guys. Stickers still P2. Closing in on
3 wide into the chicane. Boys, what are you doing?
Oh, wow.
In the wet.
Well, we said Cruisin was aggressive. He's one of those guys that always goes to the move for a move reminiscent of a certain Morgan Davey, as we see in Division 1. Someone who just loves to race. Cruisin now in P4 ahead of his teammate. They're bumper to bumper here. Look at how close this is between these guys. The CP Motorsport car goes to the inside. He's going to get Lunacy here. Is he going to get his teammate as well? He manages to sneak on through. Very well done there from the CP Motorsports car. Smidmate has been dropped down to P2. We missed that overtake. DP Mario sitting P3 now. He's had a fantastic start there to get up there. Race Fan's through, but he's got a half second. He's had a cut in the chicane somewhere there. But
Yes,
this is
he
absolutely hectic. Is that Salazar Black in the Porsche up in P7, battling it out with the Deeds car, and behind them as well. Look at this. Nearly 3 wide. They're going to be old-wakie with 2 drivers behind. He might have started on the intermediates, I think, because he's had a fantastic start there. The Doghouse car goes up the inside. Looks like a bit of a tap there. He's redressed that. Dadson P11. P11. These guys are outside of the top 10, and they're within 5 seconds of the leaders here. This is how close this field is. We've had an issue for evil-evo as well. I think he's gone off the track somewhere because he finds himself 9 seconds back behind his teammate, who's now P12.
Salazar's gone. Salazar's gone.
Salazar's out.
At the AMG arena.
I did catch that on the stream. Oh man. So he's caught the wet curb, I think. I think this is the wettest part of the lap here, because this is where we saw Race Fan go off in qualifying under brakes. He makes it through. The Smidmate for RMR now over a second behind Stickers. So Stickers has taken his positions back and said, "No, you don't," and now he's clearing off. Black Rose car of DP Mario into the podium positions as well. Race Fan's not messing about here either. He's right on the back still again. He's looking so racy tonight. It's amazing. Now, let's have a look here and see if we can't catch what happened when Smidmate took the lead. Unfortunately, we can't. We're not quite going to see it. He got through before the Mercedes arena, and there's the Blacklight car going through on Stickers as well.
Just as a little tidbit of information for you and the viewers, there is only one driver who is running a different tyre to everybody else.
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that it's old-wakie.
You would not be correct.
Ooh. Who have we got? It's not Karen, is it? Up the inside of Crazy Good Kung Fu.
None from 2.
None from 2. Alright, you're going to have to tell me.
Oh, come on, you're spoiling my fun here.
It'll be whoever's off the back, surely. evil-evo or Salazar Black.
also negative.
Oh man, I'm terrible at this.
Now, they're not doing too badly, so it will actually depend entirely on what the weather chooses to do as to whether their decision is a stroke of genius or it comes back to bite them.
Are they on the intermediates, this person?
They are.
Righto. Interestingly, we've got DP Mario with a half-second penalty here. He must have picked that up at the chicane. Race fan for CP, P4, ahead of Lunacy by nearly 2 seconds. Two blacklight cars still together, as they have been for most of the race. Dadson's got a rear view mirror full of multiple cars, a Supra, a Porsche, and there's contact there from Crazy Good Kung Fu on the way in. He tries to redress and gets in Dadson's way on the way past, but he manages to let him through. So, good sportsmanship from Crazy Good Kung Fu there, even if it was a little bit erratic. Done the right thing by Dadson, but unfortunately that's lost Dadson 2 positions there. It was up to P8. Doing really well.
Ironically, Dadson was also purple through that sector.
Oh, wow. That's not ironic, that's just sad. I see a little bit of damage on Pat Star's car there as well. You can look on the rear right quarter. There's a bit of damage and a dent in there. So I wonder what's happened there. He must have taken a bump from somebody. There it is. old-wakie in the Supra for Kraken Esports. Looking to chase down Karen in front of him. His midmates pulled a little bit of time back on stickers here out the front. And they've cleared off from Racefan as well. Racefan struggling a little bit in the McLaren, but managing to keep DP Mario behind. In fact, he's got past DP Mario at some point there, because Mario was in P3 at one point.
Mario did have that half-a-second penalty hanging over him that lap.
Of course. That'll be what did it. The times are coming down as well. Now the fastest laps are 207.4, set by Smidmate on lap number 3. Into lap number 4 now. Now the question is, when does the second spell of rain come down? Because we're expecting it to. We'll get the weather up now actually for you guys, so you can see what we're looking at. So there's our forecast in the bottom right corner there. So we're expecting a second spell of rain very shortly. Probably lap 5 or 6. And then a nice sunny track, followed by heavy rain at the end of the race. So we'll see how that goes for these guys.
Got a nice little battle down in 4th and 5th with DP Mario with a very angry Ferrari of the Lunacy behind him.
Lunacy's looking very quick. He's managed to keep cruising at bay. Oh, he's leaning on Mario there quite a lot, but he gets through. That might be an incident noted by the stewards. I don't know the contact there, but
yep,
gets it
that's
done.
What I like. I am merely a race director / commentator. I'm not a steward. I'm going to leave that well alone.
Yep. All we have to play with is what we're seeing on the screen in front of us and positions on track. So, Lunacy up to P4 there, ahead of DP Mario. So now Mario becomes the meat in a Blacklight Motorsport sandwich in the Nissan Silvia there. Well purple there for Lunacy, so the track getting much, much faster for these guys now.
Karen was doing well to hang in there with the 2 Ferraris of Blacklight, but unfortunately had to serve a half-second penalty. Wow, as Patstar just... Oh, Patstar's gone at the NGK chicane.
Oh, wow. I just caught that on the end of it there. But we're going to go with our leaders for now. We're going to have to come back to that one. Yep. The move is on for the lead here. Smidmate up the inside of Stickers. He's caught him a lot that lap. There was a mistake at the chicane for Stickers that we saw on the broadcast. Down the inside goes Smidmate, and the Red Mist car goes into the lead of the race for the second time tonight. Div 2 is led by Red Mist, followed by Stickers McQueen for Lightning Motorsport and the CP car of Racefan. But it's all about the top 2 here. They've cleared right off from the rest of the field, and they're going to go hammer and tong against each other for what looks like the rest of this race. Stickers is going to look to apply the pressure wherever he can, but it looks like Smidmate might have him covered for pace in the dry, but Stickers was absolutely killing it in the wet, so it's possible that the time disparity between wet and dry is what's causing him problems here. But we'll see what happens as the race goes on. We're going to have a look now, if we can, at the incident for Patstar. Let's have a look here. He's very, very quickly catching a Deeds 86 there of Karen, and a bit slidey. Don't know if there was contact there, but he ended up
With the way Karen pulled up and was going slowly down the main straight, it seems that he felt he was responsible for it. I'm not sure that he is or not, but
we'll let the stewards deal with that one. But
correct.
Yeah, a spin for Pat Star early on. It's going to make his race very difficult. But have a look at the lead now. 0.1 between them. Stickers is all over the rear bumper of Smidmate. These guys they're knocking heads with each other like nothing we've ever seen before. Through the chicane they go. Stickers applying all the pressure he can. A little bit slower there than Smidmate though. Pulls out nearly a second. He's pulled out a second. How's he done that at the chicane? That was fantastic, that run through there.
I can see the telemetry, and I can tell you how he's managed to pull that second. There is quite a noticeable fuel difference between Smid and Stickers. And Smid is absolutely hammering those tyres in comparison to Stickers.
Right.
Stickers' tyres are probably 5%.
Oh, check out that slide. Did you see that from Smidmate? The
I
car
did.
control was insane. Ghost would be so proud.
That may also explain the tyre wear on Smid's car.
Yeah,
So
his
while
rear
I'm
tyres
here-
might be cooking.
Well, he's probably about 30% worn, 40% worn on the front tyres, and about 15% on the rear.
Yep.
Whereas Stickers, you'd be lucky to be 10% front and rear.
Oh, wow. So he's running real conservative. He's doing a
He
VF,
is.
but the Supra this time.
And moving back to Race Fan, who's probably, well, Stickers is pretty good for fuel on about 65%. Race Fan's probably at about 60 as he goes purple through the
Race Fan's
second
on it
sector.
here. Race Fan's catching these guys. He was over 3 seconds back before, and he's now 1.7. They've knocked 7 bells out of each other, but that's caused the guys behind to catch up a bit.
And Race Fan's tyres are looking quite fresh as well, with, yeah, slightly over 10% wear on the front, slightly under 10% on the rear, which is interesting for an MR car.
Believe that.
The Lunacy, pretty much identical to Race Fan in terms of fuel and tyres, about 60% fuel, 10% wear. DP Mario is, wow, I can barely see any wear at all on the rear tyres of that Sylvia. A little bit, maybe just under 10% on the front, 60% fuel in the tank.
Guys have really got the wear and fuel locked down, haven't they?
Cruisen's actually probably the best off for fuel further down the field. He's just under 70% now, and being within a second of DP Mario, he can just sit there, short shift, fuel save, and jump him in the pit stop.
Looking good.
Although, just quietly, I'm wondering whether Cruisen intends to pit stop, because he's on the mediums.
Ooh, that's interesting. And what's more interesting about that is how close he's staying to his teammate. He's not far behind.
That is something to keep an eye on later in the race, because we're near the halfway mark, and he's nearly... he could do it.
Yeah, it's the Womble strategy, isn't it? That we saw in Division 4. He's going for the same thing, but maybe he can pull it off this time. He's on good pace as well. He set a 2:04 last lap, which is, you know, less than 3/4 of a second down on the fastest lap of the race.
And that's on mediums, and everyone else is on softs.
Yeah.
Wait, I say everyone else. I'm forgetting his teammate, who is also on the mediums. However, the fuel situation for Lunacy is not looking as good. He is bang on half tank right now.
So that would tell me that he can get to 14 laps, which, if my math is correct, is not 19 laps.
that math is correct.
All right. Well, have a
So
quick look
just
at the leaders again. It's still Smidmate, or as Good Doc has coined in chat, Skidmate, leading Stickers down the main straight, and they're back in touch with Racefan here. So Racefan and Slipstream range, a third driver in this party could really change things up, I think. As Stickers goes very deep on the brakes there, very hard on the brakes, so that'll be not playing into the tyre wear plan that he's got going on at the moment, but he's looking good. Racefan, yeah, he's right in this now. As Stickers looks to the inside of Smidmate, there might have been contact there, but it looked like latency. Can't quite tell. Round the outside of the Mercedes arena, and through goes Stickers into the lead. He's well clear, 2/10.
And
Racefan's going to follow him through. Oh, look at that. Smid's been done for 2 in one corner.
Yeah, those poor tyres on the RMR Supra are not liking life a whole lot right now. They
What an
are
opportunistic
quite hammered.
move from the CP car, though. That's amazing. He's absolutely nailed that, and he might be able to have a go at Stickers soon as well. Let's have a look at a replay here. Here we go through the arena. So, well back here from the two drivers in front of him. We're on board with the CP Motorsports car of Racefan. Down the inside goes Stickers. It looks like Smidmate or Skidmate double checked himself. And look at that exit there from the CP car. So, the guys in front were compromised, and he absolutely nailed it. And they remain as they were.
Just keeping an eye further back in the field, DP Mario in P5 is still in a blacklight Ferrari sandwich.
He won't be liking that, but the big takeaway from that is that these blacklight cars are on the mediums. That could be huge for these guys. We're at the sunny portion of the race now, so we didn't get that second spell of rain we were expecting, but we might get rain at the end, but we'll have to see how that goes. And here's your forecast on the screen in the bottom right corner there. You can see it. So currently in the sunny stage in the mid part of the race. It'll remain sunny for a little while, and then we're looking at a heavy thundercloud coming in the late stages. But if it's anything like the rounds we've had previously, we might just not see any rain at all, just gloomy clouds. So this will bear watching.
I've just been slightly sidetracked here. I've been watching evil-evo in the Alpha, and I was looking at his lap times trying to work out where he'd gone into the pits to change tyres, and then I realised the Alpha is just that good on tyres.
Yeah. It's such a lightweight car, and he's got himself the fastest lap there as well as he trails Dadson through the first sector. How's he looking here? He's down on his time, so not looking to improve at the moment, but he's on pace. So it'll be interesting to see what happens to him as the race goes on. We've had KarenUnleashed in the pits, by the way, from the softs to the mediums. So the first to blink by the looks. Looks like he's banking on the rain not coming back. He's planning on going all the way to the end here. An early stop from Karen. Will it pay dividends? Lunacy with a half second. He's picked that up somewhere. Probably at the Schumacher S. This group's really concertinaed back up again around DP Mario. old-wakie behind as well is looking pretty good for it. Midmate ahead has actually dropped off Stickers and Racefan a little bit. Racefan, who's taken the lead, which we missed as well. Is he in better shape than Stickers for fuel or tyres?
Sorry, Racefan.
Yeah.
In terms of tyre wear, he's actually got slightly better rear tyres. Fronts are about the same. Fuel, on the other hand, I'd say Stickers has a 5 to 10% advantage.
Okay. So Stickers has done a slightly better job of conserving, yeah. So Racefan's going to have to clear off a little bit if he wants to keep this position, but yeah, very interesting for these guys. Let's have a look. Smidmate in the pits puts on a fresh set of softs, I would imagine. Fuel going in. Where does he come out? Lunacy behind, also in the pit. Salazar Black in the pit. Fuel up to about 50%, I would imagine. 81. And he's got Lunacy right behind him there. So I think he must have had a bit of a fuel deficit. He goes into turn 1.
Lunacy is carrying a half-second penalty. Might have been a bit of a naughty boy at the chicane.
Interesting. I think he had one last lap as well. So I think that's 2 and 2 laps for him. Smidmate is back on the softs, is that right?
That is correct.
Right, and he's Skidmate again on the exit of the arena. Oh, he's really pushing it to the limits. That Ferrari's up the inside, though. Goes for it. Lunacy goes through into P9. There we go. Have a look up the front again. 1.7 the gap now. Race fan to Stickers and 2 seconds back to DP Mario, who's got the better of cruising. Or actually, I think it was just because Lunacy pitted. So the other blacklight car out of the way. And old-wakie behind. Kraken Esports car. Then a 6.5 second gap back to evil-evo, who leads Dadson, our Division 3 champion, in P7. Pat Star, after his spin earlier on, finds himself down in P8 without having made a pit stop.
Stickers has blinked. He's gone into the pits. He was 2 seconds behind Race Fan when he made that call.
This fuel save from these guys is insane. If I remember correctly, the Div 4 guys did not have this much fuel at the halfway point of the race. It just shows the talent of the guys in Division 2 here. I think some of these guys could really mix it in with the Div 1 guys, to be honest.
Most certainly, they would hold their own quite easily.
Race Fan's been on it real good tonight in that lovely looking CP livery on the McLaren there. A surprise choice as well, not unlike the Dadson team with the McLaren here for CP Motorsports. He leads the way by 3.5 seconds. Cruisin comes out of the pits. Blacklight car ahead of Smidmate after his stop. I would assume that Smidmate has overfueled. Smidmate under attack from Lunacy. Oh, not quite. Smidmate keeps it together. Does he slide it out once again? No demonstration of fantastic car control this time around.
It seems like Skidmate is going with the "I've paid for the whole rev range, I'm going to use the whole rev range" strategy.
I've paid for the whole tachometer, I'm going to use the whole tachometer. Yeah.
That is correct.
Oh, that's great. So he's in full push mode, and he's got Lunacy all over him. So I would assume, I'd hazard a guess, that Lunacy and Cruisin have put on the softs. Is that right?
Lunacy does have the softs, as does Cruisin.
There we go. So they've done their medium stint, got it out of the way. Almost like they think that the mandatory tyres are still on, but they're not. Just to be confirmed.
Yes, that is also correct. There is no mandatory tyre for this round because of the weather.
But I think the strategy is going to work out for them. So they're now on the softs and looking to have a lot of the rest of the field outpaced here because Cruisin's pulling away. Race fans into the pits. Mario goes around again, as does old-wakie. evil-evo
so keep an eye on Stickers here. See where he comes out in regards to Race Fan.
That could be interesting, actually. Stickers he's had a notoriously poor chicane through pretty much every lap so far. I think he's not quite cutting as much as the other drivers around him, but the rest of the lap's looking fantastic because he's managing to keep pace with these guys. He's got a 204.9, which, wow, is actually nearly a second slower than evil-evo's fastest time, who finds himself in P3. But here we go, down the main straight. Where is the CP car? There it is. He goes past.
Race Fan is coming out.
Race Fan's cleared him. He's got the jump. So that fuel save made all the difference for him there. So he now finds himself in 5th, which we'd count as the net lead because the guys in front all owe a pit stop. Or is DP Mario still on track to no stop the race? Or evil-evo?
I don't see him doing 6.5 laps with about 10% fuel. I don't see that happening.
He'll be in this lap then, I would imagine. Wasn't there somebody who we were looking at for a no stop? Was it? Oh, it was one of the Blacklight boys.
There was Cruisin. That was Cruisin.
Right, so he's been in. I don't know if he fueled up, but Yeah, so he's on the softs now, and he's looking quick too. He's not far behind Race Fan either. In fact, he's right on the back of him. Here we go. This is good. 3/10 to gap. Look at that, right to the rear bumper. He's nailed that braking zone there. That is fantastic. That exit's good too. What's the McLaren got in the hill? Uphill in the power department. He is purple. Although I think one of the Alphas was purple by a little bit as well. Have a quick look here. I think it was Pat Star. Didn't quite see. Imagine Cruisin's going to go for a move into the chicane up here. Mario's in. Wakey's in. Will evil-evo blink as well. Purple for Cruisin. He's going to get held up here a little bit by the CP Motorsports car. evil-evo goes around again. I would imagine his teammate does as well. To the outside for Cruisin. Look at 203.5 for evil-evo. He's absolutely flying.
Wow.
And a 203.7 for Pat Star. These guys are on it, man. They've put the pedal to the metal and laid down some smack for these boys to chase.
Oh, Pat Star nearly has it off at turn 1. Just manages to grab control.
Survived. That's what you want. Cruisin comes out. Oh, it's too wide into the first corner. Cruising around the outside. He's going to have the inside for the next corner. Great racing from these two. Looks like Race Fan's not going to get the better of him this time around. Cruisin dives to the inside. Bit of contact on the way through. That's not going to look good on the steward's report. But he keeps the position. Now he goes in pursuit of stickers. Unless Race Fan has an answer. Does he send one? Doesn't. No response from the CP car. But he's right on the back of him. He's not going to let this Ferrari get away easy. It's crazy that these guys have to be careful, because if they keep battling like this, they're going to lose out the Alfa Romeos.
I mean, what are they? They're 27 seconds behind evil-evo.
Well, if evil-evo keeps up this pace, he's going to be a few seconds further ahead, but I think he's going to need like 35 to keep him at bay. But we'll see. They might also have the advantage of waiting for rain.
I think evil-evo's coming in, and Pat Star will have to, because he is running on the smell of a greasy rag.
Look, and he comes. There we go. So the two Alphas are in. We'll see where they come out. I'm very interested to see if they spy rain on the radar, but I would imagine not so. It's not quite dark enough for that yet. Yep, Sticker stays out, so he's not afraid.
1% fuel left for Pat Star.
Cruisin's still absolutely hounded by Race Fan here. He's got a lot of work to do to get away. Fog's coming in, much like it did for the earlier race. Stickers is clear. Stickers retakes the lead of the race with those pit stops. Cruisin P2, Race Fan P3. So the blacklight cars are back in the mix. Speedmate down in P6 is having a hard time now. He's been passed by old-wakie. And he's got DP Mario in pursuit as well. The Alphas came out P8, P9 after setting the fastest laps. In fact, Lenocis actually has the fastest lap now. We missed that. As he goes purple again. He's on it now. He might get held up by the CP car here. But he's going in pursuit of his teammate. Let's see what he can do. Going for a late apex here, looking for the exit. Probably going to run up the Schumacher S. It's not going to happen this time. But he's well purple. He's had a great first two sectors. We could be looking at a 202 in race trim here, boys.
Oh dear.
Which I think would be faster than the Div 1 fastest lap, if I'm not mistaken. These boys really are putting the word out. And there's a penalty for Race Fan. So Race Fan serves a penalty. and drops down behind Lunacy. So Lunacy's going to have clear road for the remainder of the lap. Go for the purple lap and go in pursuit of Cruisin' ahead of him. Now this could get very interesting towards the end here. The question is, can Cruisin' catch Stickers and will we see a three-way fight to the lead? Lap there. Lunacy goes to 203.480. That's an extra point for Blacklight. 2 Blacklight cars on the podium at the moment. The Good Doc will be grinning from ear to ear watching this all unfold.
The Good Doc will absolutely be cheering. Well, not too loudly, because I'm sure he's got a couple of little ones he wants to be sleeping rather than waking them up.
Yeah, well, I'm sure he'll get vocal in the chat. Goes Lunacy wide there on exit. He's 1 second behind his teammate, who is closing in slightly on the Lightning Motorsport car. old-wakie in P4 has got the better of Race Fan at some point. What can Race Fan do? What can he respond with? What's his fuel looking like? Because it looks like he might be struggling for pace a little bit.
Race Fan compared to old-wakie. Race Fan actually has a better fuel situation than old-wakie.
That's quite interesting. What about Mario behind? He's looking like he could challenge as well.
He's fairly equal to Race Fan on fuel level, sitting at about 40% of a tank.
Right, so level playing field for these guys down in the mid-pack.
Whereas old-wakie's probably about 30%, give or take.
So he's a bit short-fueled, is he?
Compared to Race Fan and Mario, yes.
Interesting.
I think he'll still make the end.
Question is, will that compromise him to a point where he's going to lose 4th place? Race Fan looking very racy on the way into the chicane. Gets to the inside line. Wakey does not defend, and that's going to be position made for the CP Motorsports car up into P4.
I don't think fuel's going to be a factor there.
We'll see what he can do. The gap's come down by half a second to Stickers, so Cruisin' is closing in. So striking distance in 5 laps.
Race Fan ran very wide on the exit of the final turn on the main straight. Gives old-wakie a bit of a sniff. But not enough, unfortunately.
That McLaren's got some legs, I think. DP Mario coming in very late on the brakes there in the Sylvia. Yeah, Wakey's not letting this go. He's not going to take this laying down.
The Super is certainly quick through this sector compared to the McLaren.
I think Wakey's just driving like a maniac. Like he's just got the bit between his teeth right now, and he wants that P4.
I think he needs to keep an eye on his rearview mirror because he's got a DP Mario Sylvia 4/10 behind him.
Yep, this battling. I think Race Fans slowed up a little bit this lap, and that's allowed DP Mario to get back in it. Will we see a move here from the Kraken Esports Supra up the inside? No, nothing doing. Looks to the outside, maybe a cutback. DP Mario looking to throw his hand in the mix. They stay as they were. Check back with our leaders. 2 seconds the gap now to Stickers. With a little bit more time, we might see a move on the final lap. It looks like Lunacy is out of the question for the win, but Cruisin' could do it. He's gaining time, hand over fist here. Every corner seems to be faster than the Lightning Motorsport car ahead of him. Seeing a lot of fog, but no rain yet. Few laps to go. Don't forget our weather forecast. There it is in your right-hand corner. We're looking at rain towards the end of the race, and we are now at the end of the race. There is only 3 laps to go for these guys after they come around this final corner. 1.7 the gap now. It's coming down every corner. What can Cruisin' do? Does Cruisin' have a better fuel situation than the Supra ahead of him?
I think the Supra has maybe a less than 5% advantage in terms of fuel.
So Stickers is not fuel compromised. That's good to know. So he's
No,
not going to lose
not at
out on
all.
the straight any more than he should. So everything that cruising gains is going to be on, you know, car handling difference and driver skill. There's no real difference for tyres or fuel here.
And since I last checked in on these last two, cruising's taken 6/10 out of him.
Yep, we're down to 1.5 now.
Oof.
I think we might see a battle in the next lap or so. I need a striking distance graphic for the broadcast. The Stickers is gonna. He might be in conserve mode. He might be in the mindset of just bring it home. Headlights have come on. Look at that fog. See the light beams cast across the track like that. Looks great.
It's a lovely alpine mist rolling in.
It looks good, and it's one of the best things about GT7 is how good the game looks. It may have its problems, but we love it for so many other reasons. And the looks is one of them. Looks absolutely fantastic.
I think old-wakie wants to have a bit of a conversation with RaceFan for P4 here.
Yeah, he's right on his rear bumper still. He's not letting him get away. See if he can give him something towards the end of this race. I don't think he's going to be close enough here, but maybe on the main straight next time around. Putting my eye on cruising. The 1.5, 1.4. Not quite able to find the time.
Just casting my eye further down the field. Poor Skidmate was making inroads on evil-evo, but has unfortunately picked
scored
himself up
himself
a
a
1
1
second penalty.
second. Oh no. He was ahead of evil-evo as well, so he's lost out and dropped back. So he's having a real hard time this second stint. He didn't put the medium tyres on, did he?
Sorry, I was just watching Pat Starr and Salazar going side by side through the NGK chicane, and
Oh, did we miss an
It's not-
incident? We have.
oh, it's not gone well for Salazar, who has
Oh no.
been reset and is now going into the pits.
Let's have a look what
With
happened
2
then.
laps to go.
Oh, he just went deep, all on his own by the looks. And he got reset. Unfortunate. That's one of those things we hate Gran Turismo for. But these things happen. The gap at the front has stagnated. It looks like Cruisin might not be able to do it. He's pulled away from his teammate though. So he's definitely got something going on. But Lenocis actually now coming under a little bit of pressure from RaceFan too. So the duo may become a trio shortly. Or what's the word for four in that situation? I don't know. But there's 4 guys in the conversation here for P3 really. Lenocis really lost some time here. Might be fuel compromised.
Oh, he's actually got more fuel than RaceFan. Just quietly.
I wonder why he's lost so much time. Well, he doesn't appear to have lost much. He's set a 204.9 in the last lap. And RaceFan's setting, you know, a 203.7. So he's just on pace. Like, he's absolutely flying right now in the McLaren. And it looks like he's going to be able to go for a move on the main straight this time around too. Nearly in the chicane this time. Through they go. Have a look with our leaders. The gap now out to nearly 2 seconds. It looks like Cruisin's run out of steam in the late stages of the race. He gave it everything. But with 1 lap to go, it's looking like it's going to be too little too late. We look at Lunacy. Pressure from RaceFan. Jump on board. RaceFan looking a little bit too far back to go for a move this time around. He does though. Look at that. He's all looking up the inside. Not quite. Bails out right at the last second, but he's really forcing the issue here.
There was millimeters between the front of that.
That was, yeah,
McLaren and
I
the
thought
bumper
contact
of the
was
Ferrari.
imminent. I thought contact was imminent. And look, here we go. He's putting pressure on him every which way right now. DP Mario in the background, just off the back of this group. And old-wakie's right there, ready to take advantage of any mishaps that happen here. RaceFan showing the nose. He's given everything. He wants him to know that he's there. Ooh, looks to the inside. Lunacy has to take to the outside. And old-wakie's right on them now.
I think the next major braking zone is going to be very spicy with
Look
these
at that,
three.
look at that. He's up the inside. There we go. Look to the right of Lunacy's car. He's right there. Side by
while
side up
they're
to the
having-
Schumacher S.
while they're having conversations about going side by side through the S's, old mate DP Mario's quietly joined the party to make it a four-way.
Oh, he's having a go at old-wakie as well. Look at this, up the
Oh,
inside
big
on the last lap.
Big touch.
Oh, defending the inside. It's looking hectic right now.
That's been a big free kick for the lunacy.
Let's have a look at this. Up the Schumacher S. Here was DP Mario up the inside, and let's have a look what happened in front of him.
DP Mario has given a big touch to Race Fan in the final chicane. Oh no.
Let's catch our leader across the line. It's Stickers McQueen for Lightning Motorsport. 2 seconds clear of Cruisin', who gave it everything in the end, but couldn't quite do it. Lunacy manages P3, Mario P4. We missed an incident right at the end there. old-wakie takes P5, evil-evo P6 in the Alpha for Doghouse. Race Fan P7. Dadson will cross the line P8. He's done a fantastic job here to finish in the top 10 after an up and down race. Midmate, or Skidmate as he's now known, in P9. Patstar crosses the line P10 for Doghouse. Karen down in P11 after a fantastic qualifying. It all went wrong for the Deeds driver and a bit of a mix-up on his strategy. I don't think the fuel man was at fault this time around, but there was something wrong. He'll come across the line in P11. Salazar Black for ICER Esports. Come into the chicane in the Porsche. And we've got Crazy Good Kung Fu rounding out the field down at the bottom. Running around a little bit off the pace, unfortunately, on his debut. Debut for Salazar Black as well. These guys will be looking to improve over the rest of the season.
I think Salazar and CGK got caught out by the weather forecast because both drivers are on the intermediates. I think they were expecting rain to come through, and GT7 doing GT7 things has said no rain for you.
Yeah, we've all kind of got it figured out now. Now that all the races for round one are run and done, I think most people have figured out that you gotta wait for the rain to be coming down before you make a decision. You know, you can't make that decision too early. So yeah, a learning experience for some of our guys. But here's the way it finished for Division 2. A great race. Wrong scene. There we go. So, Div 2 Round 1, Stickers of Lightning Motorsports takes the laurels for Division 2 here at Nurburgring GP, and the GR Supra for Lightning Motorsport. The team owner showing his teammates how it's done and what he expects from them. 203.804 was his best lap, and he won by nearly 2 seconds over Cruisin' of Blacklight Motorsport in the Ferrari, with his teammate rounding out the podium with him. Lunacy on debut here at Sector 1 Sim Racing. Mario in P4 in the Sylvia Spec R. We missed an incident at the end there, but I'm sure the stewards will take a look at it for us and decide anything that needs to be changed. old-wakie in P5 in the GR Supra, part of that big battle at the end there between those four cars. evil-evo coming back in the 4C late on and had that fastest lap early doors, but that ended up going to Lunacy, who scored that later on in the race. evil-evo P6, Race Fan P7 in the 650S in the end, after being in such a good position. He was on for a podium, really, but couldn't quite get it done. And Dadson running out the top 8 in the SLS AMG. I think a result that he can be happy with there. I think it'd be pretty standard for Dadson to come in with a little bit of a lack of confidence. To be in the top 10 is a good result first time out in Div 2. Smidmate in the GR Supra, after a fantastic first stint, ends up in P9. But at least he walked away from this race with a new nickname, #Skidmate, car control, something that Ghost would be proud of there. But P9 for Smidmate in his first outing in Season 7. Patstar in the 4C for Doghouse with a couple of incidents that turned his race on its head. Finishes P10. Karen in the 86. Salazar Black and Crazy Good Kung Fu in the ICER Porsche Caymans round out our field this time around. So, a very, very interesting race. Up and down, plenty of action. I hope you guys enjoyed. You definitely got your money's worth out of this one. And the big winners of tonight's race, Blacklight Motorsport. 2 cars on the podium. I don't think Good Doc could ask for a better start to the season than that, really. And in Div 2,
I
no
think
less.
there's going to be a lot of fist pumping going on in that lounge room tonight.
Yeah, we need Brent on the phone here in the box, so that he can let us know how pit lane's going, as he usually does. But yeah, great race, a great race all round. Let us know your drivers of the day, your driver of the day in chat down there. What do you think, Carbon Boy? What was your take on driver of the day for that one?
That was tough. There's 4 drivers that caught my eye as a candidate for driver of the day. But I'm going to put my nomination forward for Lunacy. Debut Sector 1 drive, puts it on the podium, showed he could, drove a great race, great strategy, held his own. I think he's deserved that one. He
certainly gave Cruisin' a run for his money. I'd be inclined to look at Race Fan as well in the 650S for CP. He had a great race, and it sounds like he was the butt of a nasty incident towards the end of the race. But up until that point, he drove really, really well, and I was very impressed with him.
He was one of those 4 drivers that I had my eye on. Most definitely.
I wasn't expecting that from Race Fan, if I'm honest. I was expecting, the guys we've got up there, Stickers, Cruisin', Lunacy, Mario, and Smidmate as well. I was expecting those guys to be the definitive top guys, but it's clear now that the level of competition in this split is just ridiculous, because these guys, you just couldn't pick it at the start. I don't know if anyone picked the winner before the race began. I certainly didn't. Stickers with a pole to win, of course. A fantastic conversion there for him. I'm sure he'll be happy with that result. And fastest lap obviously going to Lunacy. So an extra point going the way of the Blacklight Motorsport team. Well, I don't actually know if that scores them a point for the team's championship. But anyway, a great result for them regardless. Good Doc will be happy with that. Our driver of the day is coming in. We've got a nomination for old-wakie there. I don't see any others, so I guess it means old-wakie's our number 1. And he did have a good race. He was quiet for most of it, but he did end up in a really good spot towards the end. And he was where he needed to be, So a fantastic drive from him there. To be in the top 5, so very well done. But I think that is us done for tonight, so I do thank you all very much for tuning in to Sector 1 Sim Racing. That's round 1 run and done for the Nurburgring GP. We will not be back here for the rest of the season. I think some people will be happy about that with the way that the weather was treating them. Next round is Daytona in the Group 3 cars, so look forward to that next weekend. It's going to be an absolute killer. Watch out for those Supras. They've got some killer straight line speed, but I'm sure the guys in the other cars will be looking to mix it up with the best of them no matter what. But that's it from us. Thank you all for watching, and we will see you all in the next round of Sector 1.
Good night, everyone.